capitalism, when capitalism is already giving up its place as the dominant socioeconomic mode of production to a different socioeconomic mode of production, which is much, much worse and much more scary. And it's in the process of evolving out of capitalism. In the same way that we had a great transformation around 250 years ago from feudalism to capitalism. And what was that transformation? Power shifted from the owners of land to the owners of machines, of capital goods, of produced means of production like steam engines, electricity, cables and all that. With that transformation that ushered in capitalism and replaced feudalism, you had the shift from land and ground rent as the source of wealth accumulation. Anyone who owns this cloud capital, like Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Zuckerberg, but not only these well-known owners of cloud capital, cloudalists I call them in the book, but also people you've never heard of in Indonesia, in Malaysia, where cloud capital is taking over as we speak. These owners of cloud capital have now the most power to extract value that other people have created in the way that the owners of the steam engines and the locomotives and the electricity power stations used to. Now it is the owners of this cloud capital, because cloud capital allows you to create digital fiefdoms, like think of Amazon.com. And what is this digital fiefdom? It's made of cloud capital, so it's digital land in a sense, and once you own it, you capture in it users, consumers and capitalists who produce the stuff you buy on Amazon.com, and you charge them up to 40% of the asking price. That's a form of ground rent, which I call cloud rent. So over the period of 3 or 4 years that led to the writing of this book, I felt that this is a new mode of production. Something quite distinct from capitalism. It is capitalism, if you want to call it that, in the sense that it's based on capital, but it's a mutation of capital which has killed off capitalism in the sense that no longer are markets and profits the pylons of the system, as capitalism was. Markets and profits. Now, what's taken their place? Instead of markets, you have digital platforms, like Amazon.com, like Uber, which are not markets. The moment you enter Amazon.com, you've exited the market. You are there, you and the algorithm. The algorithm determines what you believe, what you think, what you buy, and it sells it to you directly, bypassing markets. And profits are no longer the wealth accumulating force, because that now has become cloud rent. And if I'm right, that explains a number of things, like for instance, why are the crises that we live in getting deeper? Because a lot of this value that is produced by proletarians, by wage labor, is now creamed off and siphoned off by the cloud capital owners, the cloudalists, and that creates greater crisis of low aggregate demand. That's the Keynesian story. And at the same time, it explains why we are being quick-marched into a new Cold War, maybe a new hot war between the United States and China, because the United States and China own all the cloud capital in the world, and there's a clash between the cloud capital of the United States and the cloud capital of China. So anyway, there are many different, if I'm right, no guarantee that I'm right, if I'm right, there are many repercussions of my techno-feudal hypothesis.